I prefer to point to the zero or to the absolute, and that we are the self, and no states are real.
Okay.
Any state that we attain is a dream, whether it is I amness or awareness or whatever, or any plane or sleep, deep sleep, dream or physical plane or any astral plane or whatever planes. And for me, to make it simple, like I told yesterday, the base of all of it is time and space. And when you question the existence of time and space, the reality of time and space, and you see that tomorrow and there, you can never attain that. When you arrive tomorrow, it disappears. It's always now. And there is always, it's the same. When you arrive there, it's here. So it's like a mirage in the desert, right? So it appears to be real, but because it appears to be real, we take it for real. This is an assumption which keeps the dream, makes the dream real. It seems real, right? But if we look at this, where is the assumption between appearance of reality, of being real, and being real? We have to watch that assumption that the mind is making. So if the base of all experience, time and space, is fake, is a mirage, then any experience within time and space is a mirage. So it's very easy to see that it is the doing space, the movement. For a movement to take place, it needs time and space, right? But to be what you are, there is no need of time and space, no movement is needed. Being is prior to any movement. So whatever is experienced is within time and space with an idea of movement or an intention, or even the intention to be free or to get moksha or whatever, to be realized or whatever. It's already a movement. So it's in the dream. You can recognize easily because there is a movement. So whatever is movement is in the dream. So that's more than easy, but the mind is complicated. So but when we are able to hear, as Jesus was saying in the Bible, those who have the ear to hear, they can hear. But this ear is not this one; it's another ear. And when you are able to hear, you are that. That it's because it's another here, and it's not mental. Because for many people, I am that is just mental understanding.
What would be your translation, your understanding of I am that?
Is the zero or the self. This is what I am prior to any time and space or manifestation or any state of consciousness. I am that in spite of any realization. So what I am does not need anything. It's complete in itself. So it's a game. It's a self which I am is dreaming to be a poor self, a needy one that needs love, that needs this, which is incomplete, and so on. So it's like the story of Romeo and Juliet, perpetual story of I am missing someone and this, oh God, I lost you, I want to unite with you. But it's imagined.
So it's a play of imagination.
It's a play of imagination for fun.
For fun?
Just for fun, yes. There is no...
You mean that the self have some interest, have some fun playing with imagination?
Because I wasn't going to say anything about that, but if you know it's a dream, if you see it's a dream, then what else can it be than it's a joke? You purposely, as Shiva or the self, you purposely forget that you are that. You cut your wholeness or whatever yours, and you make yourself like a miserable one, separated from others, and you make a story out of it. But you know, the self knows that it's a story. But purposely, or we cannot say purposely or not, but it is cut, the awareness of being that is cut in order to make the movie real. It's like in my last teacher, Ishwar Puri, was saying, in the US, because he's living in the US. In the US, there is movies which are projected on the screen, and if there is a scene of rats going in the street, then there will be pump of air on your feet, and you will feel it's real. And everything happens in the movies like that. They try to make it real. So, and here it's like this dimension. Yes, this is multi-dimension movie, and it feels really real. Even if the scientists tell us that this is hard, it seems to be hard, but it's only light and sound. It's empty. Even if scientists say that, we don't believe, or we hear some, but we still, this is hard, and this is this, and this is whatever. But it's like a multi-dimensional dream.
Do you take that? How do you describe to be in the self? Is it a state, or is it?
No, that is the easy thing to recognize. It's not a state. It is what you are, and to be is prior to any state.
Yeah.
But even to be is like a pointer, but that's why I like to call it zero, because for me, zero is a zero notion. In zero notion, you cannot put anything. So even B cannot fit. Nothing can fit. You cannot say anything about the tower. Yeah. The tower we cannot describe. So zero is like a zero notion.
Yeah, but because to be, in a way, is also landing somewhere. Could be a concept where you land, and then you.
But it's at least something. Be what you are. Yes, but at the end you can't say anything. But it's maybe because how it is. So it is. Be is not a doing. This is the realm of the dream is a doing, and the self in English self is to be, right? So be in being there is no doing. So you are. But what you are is not doing anything. What you are never moved, never has moved, will never move, and is not moving right now. The self is out of that realm. But in the doing machine, the dream, then it seems to happen, and we look for freedom and this and that, and happiness. But for what we are, nothing happens. It's like in Matrix, you are laying down in the Matrix, and then, okay, start. And then so many adventures, right? And when you come back, you never moved. The same. So Matrix is really well explained somehow. Yes, close to what we can point, right? So, and then it gives a rest. What is the use of that? If you feel the zero-ness of your being, or whatever we can call it, then you feel, oh, I'm not doing anything, I've never done anything. So when you realize that you are that, then everything goes away. Guiltiness, this, that, all movement, emotions, whatever. Guiltiness of existing also, because it's all for the one. From the zero came out the one, and the one, as soon as it's out of the zero, then is a lonely one. And he wants to create another one, has created many ones, and he tried to be complete with some other ones, and sometimes he tried to be complete with itself, but it never works. Sometimes it works, or it seems to work, but at the end, most of people who share their experience, and that's mine too, that nothing works. Nothing works. And when you are a total failure, that you see that it's not working, then something dropped. And the one who was expecting to go out of the wheel, then is losing all hope. Totally hopeless. And when you become totally hopeless, then this ear open, and you can hear, you're that. But not with words, it's from somewhere else.
I mean, it could be
it's like living words. So,
You mean you are that recognized, I am that recognized that the dream is still going for me.
Yes, for the me.
But seem like a dream.
And the me is also part of the dream.
Every understanding, every feeling, every intention, every thought, everything that comes from the zero,
yes,
is fake.
Yeah, everything is in the dream.
Everything is in the dream.
I put down the little bit that because it gives sound for the. I noticed that last time. Yes, the file. Yes, yes. Anything. That's why absolute infinity. Absolutely everything. There is nothing.
It is this
can come in the zero notion.
It is this knowledge, this intellectual knowledge that free you.
No, because it's like a click. So then it's not when there is a let go, something is like some people call this like an accident. It's not, there is no merit or anything like that, but it's like when you're really tired, absolutely tired, whether it is adjacency, car rents or this or that. Most of people speak about that. When you're really tired, you have been searching, practicing and this since I don't know how many lives and this, and something is very tired. I don't want, even practicing become like, I don't want it. I'm totally fed up. And I can't do it. There is a kind of, I can't do it. I tried everything, I can't do it. It does not work. Nothing works. It seems to work, and some people reach some states, but even this also masters or people, and they reach some state, very high state, and then they fall down and they find themselves in money, power, abuse, this. Why? Because they were trying to maintain themselves in some state which is not stable, and it needs a maintenance. Then it can fall at any time. That's why many gurus fall down, because it's a maintenance state. That's why at a point, it's in this space we are in, for me, it's no teacher, no teaching, no student. Because all the game of the guru and masters, it's not stable. Because it will fall at some point. So the real teaching is a non-teaching. It's like the zero teaching, when you see that it's all fake. And you say, oh, I don't need anything. I don't need anything. So it's a release. It's like a fart. You fart and you say, oh, it's so good. It's not more than a fart, somehow. Yes. You say, oh, I was waiting for that fart. It came by itself. So I don't mind you fart now.
Fart, c'est une blague.
Non, c'est un paix.
Ah, c'est un paix, ok.
Yes, release. Yes.
And you've been searching long. How did it happen to you?
Searching?
Yeah.
Because I was tired.
Yes.
When I was young, I was really against the world, against the society, against God. I was thinking, if there is a God, I'm better than him, because I would have done a better world than this. This is a very bad world. So if there is a God, I don't want to hear about him, because I would have been better. I would have done better than that. That was my state when I was 18. So I was really like nearly punk, rebel, and this, playing in a rock band and this. So, but this was part of the search, because it's like first a no future, no future. And that's right in a way. I didn't know at that time, but it was at least sincere. No future. I don't want to wait for anything. The Christians, they say if you behave well, you pray and this and that, you will go to heaven, right? And then the guru after that say if you practice this and that, then you will reach moksha and your true home sometime. But now you are at the wrong place at the right time. And it's like ingrained in our system that we are not at the right time and at the right place. So from the beginning we are all wrong. Our parents, society, religion tell us we are all wrong. You are not at the right place, not at the right time. So it's ingrained in the body-mind completely. So how to get rid of that? Because we are the bad one, Bad one. We are not at the right place. at the right time. But then, if you are really tired, you say, I'm tired to hear that I'm not where I am supposed to be. And then you start to not want to buy any, I don't want to wait, to postpone anything. So when this fire is strong, then you can hear, it's here, now. What you are, if you are not that now, then you'll never be that. It's now or never. And then when you are enough tired, you can see it. That it will never happen later. It cannot happen later. To be what you are. So you stop postponing. Otherwise you postpone, and you practice, and this and that, and you keep the wheel turning, right? So, and at some point you can look at the wheel, like John Lennon said, looking at the wheel.
So how did you stop postponing?
By being tired. Enough tired. Enough exhaustion.
Exhaust yourself.
By exhaustion, yes, it's exhaustion. By exhaustion, then yes. But the will continue, and the one, I like to call this, like Ram Surat Kumar, the beggar, or even Carl calls this the devil. The one will stay the one. But what I am prior to the one, the zero or the self, I'm already that, right? But the one cannot go out of the will, it cannot leave the will, because it's part of the will.
And what will be the relation between the zero and the one in this state? Is there two different I?
No, it's the zero, it's what you are.
It's just what?
But and what you are is dreaming to be one. Dreaming to be one, and then 2, 3, 4, 5. But it's still, everything is the self. Even this appearance of the dream is the self. It's an appearance of the self. But the self is the self anyhow, anyway. But the appearance is just an appearance that we take by mistake for real. Just a misperception. But the self is always the self. It cannot be burnt, it cannot be cut, it cannot be destroyed. It's a perfect place. The absolute security. So we look for security outside the world, in relationship, physically, emotionally, or whatever. But the absolute security is what we are. Nothing can touch that. It's absolutely safe. So, by the worst dream you can have, you can go to Auschwitz, or you can be cut into pieces, his body. Even in that, nothing will happen to you. That's such a dream. It's that much safe you are, what you are. That much safe. Like you dream the worst or the best, nothing happened to you. That's the game of the self. That's what we call the lila of God. You can dream anything and nothing happens.
But there is a difference between the one that takes the dream for real and the one that takes the dream for dream. This is the difference, no?
Yes, exactly. When you see it as a dream, then this is the difference. When you are identified, very solidly identified, or when you see the I, the root cause is I, right? If you do self-inquiry, the root cause is I. And you see I, the more you do, you will see I as a phantom. Phantom. A phantom. So, and you don't take it for real. You see it is there, the world appears to be there, but it's an appearance.
But what kind of relation do you have relationship with this phantom? Do you have compassion?
There is no need to. Yes, you can have this like this, but then you have you separate yourself, me and the phantom. But you are that phantom. I mean, the appearance. So you don't mind, the self don't mind playing the role of a phantom, but it's not like it's be absolutely the phantom, relatively the phantom. It means you are the absolute, dreaming to be relative. So be absolutely relative, and nothing wrong. Nothing wrong.
But knowing, the absolute is knowing. That's the difference. Huh? There is something that is aware.
Yes, but whether you are aware or not, whether you are or not, you are.
So, really? Yeah, there is someone.
Yes.
Oh, sorry.
Welcome.
Sorry,
no, welcome. You close for the monkeys.
Oh, yeah.
Ram, namaste.
Good to see you.
Good to see you. So, more cushion if you want. Yes. So, nice to see you. Yes, so, we were saying what?
I was saying.
Yes, being the phantom.
Yeah.
Being the phantom. You don't need to kill the phantom.
No?
You cannot. If you try to kill the phantom,
Yeah.
then you make the dream, you confirm the reality of the dream. But you don't mind. It's like the self, what you are, to not mind being as a phantom or in a state of I amness or whatever states of consciousness. It's it's equal. The self doesn't mind to be in any states because it knows somehow that it's a dream, right?
I know what I was wanting to
Well, you can say like this, it's pointers, but it knows somehow, yes, there is this awareness of seeing, we were there, yes, seeing that as no preference, and then, but it's deeper than, it's not the presence. We talked about this the other day, I don't know. It's not even the presence, it's prior to presence. Because sometimes you are absent, right, when you are in deep sleep. So you are still what you are when you are absent, right? So what you are, the zero, what I call zero, is prior to any presence or absence. So, and the more, when you can hear it with this inner ear somehow or something, the zero recognizes itself. So maybe recognize itself as being that which is prior to anything, independent of the dream.
That was the knowledge I was pointing before when I tried to make you speak about the recognition of the self. It's difficult to say that there is awareness of the self about the dream, but something is present to that.
But even if we cannot. It's prior to presence or awareness. But it's we can say maybe awareness, but even it's prior to anything. We cannot say anything about it. It's better for me to speak like that. I'd like better to say we cannot say anything. Just to say that it is in spite of presence, absence, awareness, or not, or this, or whatever. Whatever you can say, it is there. What we are. Then it makes it simple. We cannot say anything. That's why the Tao is good. The Tao taking the Tao that you name is not the eternal Tao. Bas, you don't need to read anything more. It's enough. You cannot say anything about what you are. But it is in spite of any happening. Experience, coming, going, past, future, states, or whatever. Yeah. How are you today?
I'm really good.
Yes.
Yes.
I see that.
Now I understand from you experientially it's different than presence or awareness.
Yes, it's prior to all of this stuff. And that it seems when it's more mental, we confuse and we try to grasp, but the cut is it's prior to anything. The mind wants to hold something, to understand, to grasp, but then you cut everything. No, you can't get it, like a child. No, you can't. You are that. That's it. That's all. And you are, what you are is prior to anything. And you can't say anything about what you are. And that's the best secret. That's why nothing can touch. That's why the self can dream anything, the worst devil, the worst or best creation, but no devil, the biggest, whatever, monster will not be able to touch air of that, what we are. That's why it's so fun. Because you can drink whatever you like and you're not touched by anything. So it's like Shiva is, let's drink that. Why not? And then he knows it will. So he somehow cuts the awareness of being that and to be separate and to cry, as I was saying. And I want to reach home and this stuff.
In a way, the self is a scenarist that knows he's a scenarist. We
can say that. Why not? Yes. But there we cannot really too much touch how it's what he said in the Bible. In the beginning was the Word. So the beginning. So it means when time and space came out was the Word, and the Word was God, and the Word was with God. And we are prior to the beginning of the Word. So the Word is not a word. It is a power, the Shruti, the light and sound, or the first eye, the first lingam, Shiva. All this is, according to different traditions, they will present it as a lingam, Advaita, the first eye, or Santmat, sound and light, or the word in the Bible, for Muslims, something else. But this is the first came out of the Absolute. You can give any name, but the first Shruti. And this is the first God who created all other number 2, 3, 4, 5, all the numbers. But what we are is prior to the Creator, prior to God, to the first God. Or we can say what we are, the Absolute is the Absolute God. But from the Absolute God came the Creator God, the One. But when the Creator God is coming out with the fear ingrained in itself. Because when you are aware to exist, then you start to fear to lose that existence, to disappear. So the fear is there from the beginning, not in the Absolute. In the zero, there is, in the zeroness of the Absolute, there is no fear. But when it's coming out, then the fear is at the same time coming, because you're then you start to create another one and another one, and you try to get oneness again in relationship or to reach God, but always the fear is underlying, and the fear is the mother of all other. The original fear is the mother of all other fears: fear of dying, fear of living, fear of rejoicing, fear of losing what we have been rejoicing. Fear, fear, fear. I is fear. And we avoid that fear by going out, searching in outer object, number 2, 3, 4, 5. All people, accomplishment or whatever. So we are keeping our attention out on objects to avoid to be here at the original spot with the original fear. And we avoid that because it's not pleasant. So when we feel that, we go away, and we are running away, as Bob Marley is saying. But you can't run away from yourself. How long can we run away from ourselves? In the dream, we run away. But then, when we are staying here, and we dare to look at the devil in the eyes, and the worst, the fear that we fear, the original fear, and whatever it contains, as emotions, pain. This is the first wound. So all the wounds of rejection, all the push and pull games, the original wound is the wound of the fear, the first fear. So it is starting from there. So always, when we feel triggers from outside, from relationships or from any situation, or loneliness, keep attention there, pull the string back from object to subject and stay there, and just notice the tendency of avoidance of the mind. We always want to avoid what is there. But when you dare to look face to face to that, to stay here, not with an intention, because an intention is again a movement, and it's also again confirming the dream. No intention. Just to be here, possibly, if you are in this Shruti or this high awareness, first, if you don't know what that means, then first you just practice self-inquiry as you feel the ego, mentally, emotionally, or physically. And then the sense of ego will fade away, and we'll see more and more as a phantom, the sense of I, ego. And then a deeper I, this Shruti I, the primal God, we can say, will appear. And we can call this Shruti or the word or whatever. And then you stay there. And this Shruti will absorb all vasanas, and the original fear also will be seen in that light. But all this is addressed to the one, right? Because the zero, the self, does not need all this process. So I like to say this clearly, that this is all for the one. But the one to feel more comfortable, in the dream, he can learn to be here and to not move away from being here. But at the same time, I like to put this subliminal message that you are that anyway, and what you are does not need even that. Always this message is there somewhere in the background. You don't need that even. It's a game. It's still in the dream, but you can do it. Why not? Because it might be more comfortable. And then it's dissolving.
Yeah.
When you stop running away, then the wounds or pain or loneliness or this or rejection or whatever, the 5 wounds or this stuff, then they will do whatever they like, But usually it's like they are kind of dissolved if you don't run away. But by running away from them, we confront them. That's the opposite, because the mind is gaining its existence. The I, by running away, is confirming its own existence, because he wants to stay alive. He don't want to question his own existence. But when you understand the game, you keep attention here. Which is not always pleasant, but it is how it is demystified, the devil. It is sin. It's like a sin.
Yeah,
right?
Sin.
Sin, yes.
Yeah, so you describe it like a remembering of the self. When in the dream, someone, something that knows that, there is a possibility of opening the door to remembering the self, to see the dream like a dream.
But so it's said to the one, because the one hear it, but the one will never. It's still like when we say I am that to the one. The one is like yesterday somebody, the Indian guy, was saying, yes, but I don't feel it. I understand mentally I am that, but I don't feel it. Why? Because it is still the one who is listening. The zero is not, the hear of the zero is not yet hearing it, right? But when it is heard from the proper hear of the self, we can say, then it's like a ha-ha, And nobody can contradict that. When you see it, it's like a click or whatever you can say. It's like an accident or something. But then it's some people call this the first part of the awakening. But after what you do with all the vasana and stuff and the ego coming back, then if you stay here, nothing. Your job is over. Some people say it's only a first step, the first awakening. But then after, you have to do so many things and this. In a way, we can say this relatively, but if you really see it clearly, that you are that, from there, from zero, you don't have anything to do. You see the game of the one, and you might do self-inquiry, meditation, or devotion, or whatever, but it has been seen as part of the dream and for the one. So you don't mind the process of elagging the tree, of clearing and processing. So the vasanas are being dissolved if they want to. But for what you are, you have no even interest in that. The self has no interest whether there is vasana or not, if you are realized or awakened or not. The self has no interest. The self that we are. Right? So if you see that from there, you see the game, but you let it's happening or not. You know, so it's become more refined. So the I, at the beginning, when you start to do self-inquiry, is felt as a hard ego, bodily, mind, emotion, and it's refining itself. And then that's when the sense of I dissolves. It is there, but seen as a phantom. And then more like a shruti is like a constant I, as not sure was saying in the talks. This I, is shruti. But that can be mistaken for that, the self. But for me, it's the first I is prior. What we are is prior to the I, from prior to the shruti. The shruti is the first. The shruti is the first sprout, the word of the, you know. But what we are, the Tao, is prior to any shruti, anything. We cannot say anything about. It's total mystery. We are the total mystery, which we cannot ever know. And that's the beauty. That's the perfect bhakti, when you but you realize you are that. It's like the perfect, to be that is the perfect bhakti. It's not praying anybody or anything. You are that, and that's, yeah. Anything?
No, I don't have any questions.
No, I love to know why. Because we talked last time about that.
Yes.
And you said when we were one-to-one, so we were talking together, and you told me, but in group, usually I don't have questions. So I'm asking you have questions, you said no. But that's fine, that's totally fine. Yes, it's good. You don't need to have questions.
Yeah, I felt after the last time I was with you, you were talking about the Shruti. So afterwards I have that, if I remember, I sort of go into the experience. But that's on autopilot. I don't have to remember, but it often comes. I'll just do something. And it's I. It can't be I am this or I am that, it's only I.
Yes, it's too much already. Who am I is too much.
Yes.
This preliminary stage, maybe, you need to ask. You can even go to the work of Baron Katie. Is that true? And the 4 questions. That's also helpful for the one at some point. But then, who is asking the question? I. Who is asking, is that true? I. So, and then it is seen as what it is, as ego, as a phantom, as pretending to exist. And then the shruti is becoming more and more obvious as you experience, right? And it's like more of an automatic pilot. So that's why people ask, do we need to put effort? Yes, for some time. But after, it becomes automatic pilot. It's like when a rocket needs to leave the ground. You need to put a lot of energy to get out of the ground for the rocket. And slowly, because the attraction of the Earth is becoming less and less, then less energy. At some point, no energy is needed because the attraction of the Earth is not there anymore. So this is the autopilot. It's the same for self-inquiry. At some point, you don't need to do anything, and you see you have never done anything. It was appearing like that. But at some point, you see, oh my God, I never done anything. And even you can see nothing ever happened, and whatever is seen here is not happening. It's a mirage in the dream of time and space. And you are not in danger. You have never been. You thought, I will die, I will miss my girlfriend, or somebody may cut my head. But then you realize that I will still be here. I never moved, I will never move. Even somebody cut my body, I will still be here. Nobody can touch what I am. That's great. It's a great adventure. So we are great adventurers. May I ask you your name? Because I know...
Vesco.
Huh?
Vesco.
Vesco.
Yeah.
From South America?
No, Bulgaria.
Bulgaria. Oh.
Bulgaria, yeah.
Welcome. So, Europe meeting. France, Scotland,
Yes.
Romania.
Bulgaria.
Huh?
Bulgaria.
Bulgaria.
Yeah.
Yes. So, yes, no, so nothing to do. And then this hopelessness is when you see yourself, the one, as a total failure.
As a total what?
Total failure, échec.
Ah.
Then the rest, you rest in what you are, because as long as you're in the one struggling to achieve something, so it's like the hamster in the wheel trying to get out, you know.
Mm.
But as soon as this fed-upness is strong enough, then the release is there, like a fart. I was saying, it's like a fart. The final, not the final fart, because it's not an awakening, but it's more an act. But you say, I am that, you know. For the self, it's just you can say a fart. And then say, oh my God, such an adventure. But anything is good in the whatever approach of even Bhakti people who... for me, now is, I don't mind what this body is doing. You can go to the temple, or that, or whatever, or dance, or... It has no consequence for what I am.
Mm-hmm.
It has a consequence for the one. And the appearance of the one will stay like that. There is a story with King Janak and Ashtabaka. You heard about Ashtabaka? And Ashtabaka means 8, so he was a boy who was disformed, it was like curved in 8 parts. That's why it's called Ashtabaka. And then he came to the King Janaka, who was interested in awakening. And some people said that this boy can help or something. So he came, and all the ministers and people were there with King Janak. And then everybody was laughing at him. Oh, this boy is like deformed, not looking nice, ugly, and this. And then the boy said to Janak, they were laughing, and then he said, who was these people you have invited? Are they leather merchant? Des vendeurs de cuir? Leather merchant, who sell leather. Because they just watch at this body only. You know, at the surface, at the appearance. And from the appearance, this guy, no, he cannot be a sage. He cannot, it's not possible. So everybody was laughing. And then he spoke some words and everybody was convinced. So we judge people by the appearance. And because we see people through our minds, through our past, and but that's how it is, what to do. So, and the story continued, but I don't know if I can. But he said, King Janak said, I want instant awakening. And so Ashtabaka said, yes, for that you have to give me 3 things. So I don't know if I remember well, but you have to give me your body, your mind, and your kingdom. I think these 3 things. It doesn't matter. And then he said, okay, everything is yours. And then he said something like, go to search something, and his mind started to work. And then Ashtabaka said, no, You gave me your mind, you are not allowed to think. But the story is going further. I cannot say it well, but yes. So we cannot recognize the zero is the zero is the self of every once. But we are believing our eyes, physical eyes, and they are really the lying eyes. We cannot trust what we see. That is the thing. So, but with these eyes, with these two eyes, we see time and space. We take it for real, and any movement in the dream, even awakened beings, we take it for real. With these two eyes, right? But Buddha said, if you see the Buddha, kill him. And Subhuti asked Buddha, does Buddha has attained enlightenment? He said, no, Buddha did not attain enlightenment. So the same, Buddha also, by failing, he was practicing, trying to get it, and at some point, failed. He failed, totally failed. And by failing, he realized that he was that, he's that. The same, it's the same. Whether it is him or anyone, or Ramana. Because the self of Ramana, Buddha, yours, is the same. There is no difference. But because I want to stay alive, he doesn't want to question its existence, so he says, oh, this guy made it, but not me. I'm not that. It's not possible. I'm not ready to be that. You know? But why? Because he's a clever guy, the eye. So he wants to stay alive, he will put others on the pedestal. Buddha, Jesus, Ramana. And then Ramana, as Carl said, he become a banana. So we put them as something that we need to attain. I need to be like Ramana or Buddha or Jesus or whatever. But this the misunderstanding of but it's purposely the game of the eye. He is putting other one above because he wants to stay alive. So he doesn't want to question itself. Like when you speak with religious people, like I was talking with a Muslim some time back, say, no, God is, I'm separate from God, you know, I pray and I don't want to be, I cannot imagine that I am not separate from God. Because the ego is clever, so you want to keep God separate. And pretending that I respect God too much, to not be separate. So it's just a pretension to stay alive, to not question its existence. Yes, but when it's ready to question its own existence, then the idea of a separate God disappears.
And in a way, the mind is also very shy and very fake, because in having this image of Ramana and so as a master, he wants to become this.
Yes.
You can see how much the mind is
Insecure?
Insecure and insatisfied.
En français, tu peux dire? Insatisfied.
Yeah, insatisfied.
Yes. But it's a double game, you know, it's like double coin, because by keeping the idea of reaching something is keeping itself alive.
Yeah, of course.
But when it is seen, because it doesn't want to be seen, you know, as unreal. So you want to keep this, putting somebody higher to stay there. I want to stay there. I don't want to question anything. It's safe. It thinks, the mind, the ego, thinks that it is a safe place, but it is totally unsafe. You have always to maintain. That's why there is so many masks and protection in this body-mind, to maintain that fake state of security, but which is not safe at all. The ultimate security is the self, what we are. Without protection. You don't need to protect anything to be what you are. So, but you cannot speak like this to people who are not ready to hear that, because they want to stay separate and to put Ramana like this, or God, or whatever. It's an offense even to question anything. It's an offense. But it's not really an offense, because I put myself in danger if I question anything. But if you are a real seeker, you are ready to question anything. You don't mind questioning anything. Otherwise, you keep some secret space. No, I don't want to question that. And if you look at, you want to talk about something, no, I don't want. This is like dangerous. Yeah. And you can see this is not the natural state. You can see the face of people. Sometimes you can be in mood or this, but when one is closed, doesn't want to look, it's like, no, I don't want to look at anything. I want to stay in my box. A spiritual box. It can be a spiritual box, but I don't want to move from that.
Could be a question, because this understanding is also it happens in the mind. And you talk
Which
about,
understanding? For the one, but when the inner ear is ready to hear, then it's heard.
Yeah, but you call it before in this moment you call it a shift, and this shift,
click. More. It's not a shift really, because the shift is for the one.
Okay.
It's more like a click. The zero recognizes itself, but it just was forgetful. But somehow, zero recognizes itself.
It could happen in different kind of mood, no?
Anyway, some stories happen to some robbers, like maybe Milarepa or whatever. It's not necessarily always the same story. Yeah. Some people have been practicing a lot, and at some point they were totally fed up, and then some click was there, which I would not even call awakening, because for the zero there is no awakening. But it can happen in any situation. A robber or a prostitute I don't know. There is no rules.
Yeah,
no rules.
Yeah, because many people called enlightened describe this experience, some with joy, some with something in this moment. It's not the moment, but in this moment, light comes, and then the final understanding, we can say, is there. That's why I was calling it, you call it a click. But in a way, this understanding, this sin, escaping, the moment where you escape from the dream, and then you see the dreamer.
But it's not a final understanding. I would not say it's a final understanding. It's better, because then you think, someone can be awakened and it's finished. No, for me, it's the inquiry of the one will never stop. It's a tendency of the one to always inquiry about its nature. The zero somehow recognize itself, I am that. But the one is not stopping, like any trigger can come, and then the neti, the inquiry. For the one, yes. Or maybe in my case there is still vasanas, but like most people. But for some rare people, like maybe Ramana, maybe was no vasana. I don't know. I was not there.
What is this vasana?
Vasanas is mind tendencies, like tendency to be greedy or this or angry or all the stuff personal from like the branches of the tree of the eye, all the stuff. So.
Do you think that is it possible that we still play for example, to be greedy, like a play, like a game,
yes, this is recognized? For example, I'll tell you my experience. Usually when you are angry, you feel I am angry, with an I. But it can happen to be angry without empty anger. There is something. But you inside it's like it's not, nobody is there angry. Just anger without anybody to be angry. And so to be absolutely relative is like you let the one, this actor, to be itself. To be absolutely relative just by seeing the tendency of avoidance, then some mask, some deeper layers of the dream will fall, right? Usually we protect ourselves with many masks, unconsciously. But then, the more seeing is there, the more masks are falling down, and then you will be like, maybe the closest reflection of the self, but without mask. But still, an actor is there, but with not so many covers, right? And then you are absolutely yourself, angry, or this, or with desires, so it's not about having no desire, or not being angry. It's more anger without anybody to be angry, or desire without anybody to desire. The problem is not anger or desire or whatever, is the ownership of it. Who is owning the anger or the desire?
So when you don't, when you are in this moment that you don't finally ask anything about your behavior, you are in your real nature.
You are anywhere in yourself.
Yeah.
Anyway, but for the zero, right? The zero is always zero, right?
Okay.
The self. But for the one, it can be more refined. The less mask or vasanas or whatever fall, and then it's like the refined, something like this. It's more refined. Then existence is less layers of dream, but it's still the dream, right? But the further you can go is maybe like Ramana, who like the pure refinement of the I, of the one, but still is manifestation, right? The self is prior to that.
And this manifestation you don't touch.
If you touch, who is touching? If you believe in free will, then the one is touching it. But if you question the existence, of the one, then the free will is seen as illusory. And then what are you doing in the dream? What are you touching, as you said? Who is touching what? And if you question the I and the free will, who is touching the dream?
What happens if I have to give you back your fork? I stole your fork in the kitchen now. And that was my real nature?
That is the dream. What is happening in the dream? Happening in the dream. But the self is dreaming that, and you cannot prevent. When it is seen as illusory, the free will, then you cannot prevent this actor to steal that fork.
And you cannot prevent. So
no, you cannot prevent.
It was my real nature. And you love my real nature.
It's not. It's just the script of the movie is like that, and you cannot change it. You can change it only if you think the I is real and the I has free will. When you do self-inquiry, you see both disappearing at the same time. The I is fake and the free will is fake. It seems to be there, it appears to be there, that you have the will to steal the fall. But this actor has no choice. It has no choice.
So you have in this reality you love my nature, even if I stole away.
Which reality? In this dream, you mean?
In the dream, yeah. What is your reaction?
But there is no need to love or not love. It's like that. It is seen as a movie shooting by itself. So which guy has to love it or not love it? The same one again, the I. But do we need the I to love the movie or not? The movie does not need any I to approve it. It is shooting by itself. When you see properly, clearly that the I and the free will, hand in hand, are seen as a phantom, then you see the movie is shooting by itself. So what was any word to say on that? You see what is written here, Ramana Maharishi? Whatever has to happen will happen. You can try whatever to prevent it. And whatever is not supposed to happen, you can try to make it happen, it will not happen. So the best thing is to keep quiet. Because the movie is shooting by itself. So I pretend that he can touch it. It's not real. In the dream it is real for the eye that he can touch or do something. It appears real. But what appears to be real is not necessarily real. This is what we have to question. Without believing any teacher, guru, or whatever, system, philosophy. By our true seeing, you can question that. What appears to be real, is that absolute? Is it really real? And then you look, this is inquiry. And you see, you will have your own answer or non-answer. Maybe no answer, and the no answer is answer.
Yeah.
Because the self has no answer, only the mind has answer.
Mm-hmm.
The self has no answer. What can you say? 'Do you have the time? What time is it?
5:25.
5:25. With our length of capacity for the camera. Yes, first time because he told me also, Alban and my friend also, few people told me it's better with video. With audios, people tend to be less interested than video. Maybe
even if you have a good ear, after a while this ear starts to be fed up about hearing. Yeah, it depends.
Some people are really willing to hear. I have a few people who they even audio because they're very interested. Sometimes, but with video it helps to catch your attention.
Yeah. Sometimes audio are best because you can relax without seeing something. And I think it's in this tradition in India they say that the only organ that is still living is the ear. The eyes are dead because
when
every time, because the eyes are supposed to watch everywhere, and then finally in a way they don't see.
You mean they off and on, but the ear are always open, always working.
Yeah, the ear is more close to God.
Yes.
Because you close all the senses and then only hearing, and then something is coming down.
You see? That's why maybe Jesus also said, those who have ear to hear, they may hear. And what I was practicing also still is there, the sound, the inner sound is about hearing. And also in talks, we can say the true listening is not to try to understand, just to be heard, but not necessarily trying to understand. And this is true listening.
Yeah.
True listening. And then because the satsang is a double sword or word. It's like you speak one to one, but 0 to 0 at the same time.
Yeah.
So it's like the one is talking to the one, kind of catching the attention, but at the same time 0 is speaking to 0, self to self. That's why also I call this 0 talks, because the 0 talks secretly talk, and that's the real satsang. The one-to-one is an excuse. So that's why some people come to satsang and they don't say anything, they just don't need to understand, but just come to enjoy the self-to-self talk. Yes, so it can be sometimes to understand, but even to not understand, just to, for me, that's why I've been to many thousands of hours of satsang, and many times I just sit, and it's not really to, sometimes it's to catch something, but many times it's just to sit. Yeah, you enjoy the space, and that's like that. Yes. Like you do now, no questions.
No, but I am listening. It is one-to-one as well.
Yes, both, yes.
But I know what you mean a lot of the time. What they're saying is too complicated to listen to. So it's a choice, either 1 or 0. I can't have both. You know?
But you can't have both?
Maybe I could, but for me, if I have to think about it, I sort of lose contact with the 0.
Don't trust that. Maybe you can question that.
Okay, I'll question next time I've got someone else's satsang. I'll take your teaching.
I mean, when the mind is saying you lose, you don't, because the one is not necessarily aware about the self-to-self talk.
Okay.
Who knows?
But it feels like it gets in the way. Like to me, my mind either needs to be silent or engaged.
But because you take it for a state.
Okay, yeah.
You see? But zero, self-to-self talk is not a state. So for me, when I speak, it is there. I'm there. It's not, I'm speaking and it prevents me to be that. No, I'm totally that, and at the same time it's speaking. It's not separate.
Okay.
It's totally, the self is one. The self manifesting, you go, bye bye, see you.
That's great.
Yeah. See you around.
Yeah.
Bye bye. Yes, so yes, it's simultaneous. Because if you think when I'm one, the one is listening, then the self-awareness is not there, then it means that you take a state for that.
Okay, yeah, I do.
You see, this is but the self is always there, whatever state. You see, but it's good to see it. Now you see it clearly that the mind is taking a state for that. And it's not, you don't need to, the self, the silence is always there, whether you speak or not. The silence is not the silence of the mind. The real silence is there in any states. When you are absolutely angry, or when you talk, when you, whatever you do. Yes. So this is a big catch.
Okay, now that is a catch because my mind's always sneaky. It says, oh, it's always there, but the mind gets in the way. No, what you're saying is true.
Yes. Yes. So then you observe that, the tendency of taking any state for that. That is prior to any state. Easy. So whenever the mind tries to catch a state, to take it for that, neti. I'm always that. Whether I speak or not, or I'm in the worst condition, I'm always that. That's an underlying, it's like the screen, like Ramana said, this is the screen where everything is projected. Any awakening state, or dream state, or deep sleep. So the pointer is more like deep sleep. Beyond the deep sleep, what you are. So it's like the screen. The screen and any state is projected. When there is a movie, there can be fire on the screen, but the screen is not burnt. So when you are speaking, the actor is speaking on the screen, but the screen is still there. So when the one is listening to the one, the screen is there. It has not gone anywhere. And you are that screen. So you don't need to be in any state to be the screen. That's a big scene.
Yeah.
It's a release. That's why you have to achieve, you have to maintain something, you have to fight or cultivate something and to stay there. And especially you as a meditation teacher, you have been very much influenced by this. Whatever transcendental meditation or whatever kind of meditation, it's more about state of consciousness, meditation. And then it might be even more difficult for somebody who has been much into that, even teaching meditation. It can be even more difficult to let go of that. It can be a trap.
I know what you mean, yeah.
But if you see it, then it's like any trap. Energy trap, Shakti trap, Kundalini, all can be a trap. Or CDs, powers, looking for the inner silence.
Meditation is a trap also. It's a big trap because where is the meditator? Who is the meditator?
But it's a trap.
Who is the meditator?
Yeah, but it's trying to get him away. But yeah, I know what you mean. And there's a state
there is in the night.
Yeah,
Practicing something to gain something.
Yeah, so now I'm going to feel like a fraud when I go and teach other people to meditate.
No, if you have awareness of what you are, then you see if you don't take it for that, then anything is fine. Because it's like you teach yoga or meditation or anything, but you know what you do, but you don't take it for that, for the self, right? Then it's clear, everything is clear. You help the one to be more at ease in his dream states, in this dream, you know. So and you're clear, you're not cheating anyone. You help the one. But underlying this, the more you're aware, I am that, then this also zero will speak to zero, you know, self to self. So there will be an underlying non-help, you can say, because the self does not need to help the self, it's just a recognition. So the one can help the one, but zero cannot help zero. Zero is perfect, right?
Well, maybe to help with that, because I really understand what you're saying, but did you have to give